The word righteousness has lost its weight. In most modern English, it's theological wallpaper, the kind of word that appears in hymns and then disappears from conversation. We don't say, "That was a righteous decision," the way we say, "That was honest," or "That was fair." The word has become so churchy that we barely feel it anymore. But Jesus didn't say, "Blessed are those who intellectually approve of righteousness." He said, "hungry and thirsty." He reached for the most visceral human experience, the kind that makes your stomach cramp and your mouth dry and your vision narrow to a single point, and said, "That is what this looks like from the inside." Why that metaphor? And what is it that we're supposed to be so desperate for? The Greek word is Dikaiosyne, and it sits at the center of one of the oldest debates in Christian theology. The word carries two meanings simultaneously: personal righteousness, being rightly aligned with God, having right character, right standing before heaven, and public justice, giving each person what is due to them, the right ordering of society. In the Hebrew tradition, Jesus was drawing from the prophets Isaiah, Amos, and Micah. Use the word tzedaqah to carry both senses at once. You cannot separate personal holiness from public justice in the prophetic imagination. They are the same word for the same reality, seen from two angles. The Greek translators of the Septuagint chose Dikaiosyne to carry all of that weight. When Jesus uses it on the hillside, he inherits everything the prophets meant. Both dimensions arrive together. Neither one is optional. In first-century Galilee, hunger and thirst were not poetic abstractions. They were daily realities for most of the people seated on that hillside. A bad harvest meant real hunger. A dry summer meant walking miles for water. The people Jesus was speaking to had felt their bodies fail from want. They knew what it was to have the need outlast the supply. When Jesus placed that physical sensation alongside Dikaiosyne, he was saying something precise. The desire for righteousness should be that urgent, not a background preference, not something you'd like to see more of, generally speaking, the kind of longing that occupies your whole attention, the kind that tells you something has gone deeply wrong and will not let you forget it. The Greek word for filled at the end of the beatitude is chortasthesontai, a word used elsewhere in the New Testament for feeding animals until they are completely satisfied, not partially fed, not somewhat more comfortable, filled. The promise is scaled to match the hunger. Augustine reads this beatitude as the soul's active yearning to be conformed to God's will. The hunger is not passive. It is not simply wishing things were better. It is the soul pressing against the direction of its own selfish gravity toward something it does not yet fully possess. His famous line from the Confessions, "Our heart is restless until it rests in Thee," is the autobiography of a man who knows this hunger from the inside. Thomas Aquinas approaches from the angle of justice. In his treatment of justitia in the Summa Theologica, he defines justice as the constant and perpetual will to render to each person what is their due, suum cuique, give to each their own. For Aquinas, the person who hungers for righteousness is the person who cannot rest while this giving remains incomplete, not the person who would prefer it in the abstract, but the person who feels its absence as an open wound. Both readings are present in Jesus's one phrase, the vertical dimension, the soul's hunger for alignment with God, and the horizontal, the heart's hunger for the world to become what it was always meant to be. So what does this beatitude ask of the person who takes it seriously? It does not ask you to fix everything. It asks you to stay hungry. The beatitude is not, "Blessed are those who have achieved righteousness." It is, "Blessed are those who are currently hungering for it." The promise belongs to the person in motion, the person who feels the distance between what is and what should be, and refuses to make peace with that distance. This may be the most uncomfortable beatitude of the 8. The others describe virtues we can aspire to in relative quiet: poverty of spirit, mourning, meekness. But hunger is relentless. It will not let you settle. It wakes you up. It interrupts your contentment. Jesus says that person will be filled. Not yet. But when the filling comes, completely,